Yo, what's good? It's your boy RJ here with Beyond the Box Score, and this is an exciting moment. This is our first ever episode of Beyond the Box Score, a channel where we're gonna dig into the box score, dig into all those cool sports stories, and just add a little commentary to it, and with, of course, a little bit of my flair. You dig? So, first story is something dear to my heart. This is gonna be a command post edition of Beyond the Box Score, where we talk about everything Washington Commanders related. And this story is going to be a nice little approach into discussing one of the biggest stories of the offseason, which is the Washington Commanders acquiring Carson Wentz. Now, they always say to understand where you're going, you got to know where you're from, right? And with that theme in mind, I was thinking, man, who were some of the quarterbacks of Washington football past that are most similar to Carson Wentz that could pretty much foreshadow the future of what to expect from Carson Wentz? So just off the break, we're going to go through these lists of different quarterbacks, kind of look at their careers real quick, and see if, that can really give us a good picture of what we're going to get from Carson Wentz in this upcoming season, because I think it will. And when you first dig into the details, we first got to look at Carson Wentz, right? 6'5", 240 pounds, had his career coming out of North Dakota State. He got drafted by the Eagles. And, the good thing with Carson Wentz, when you really look at his stats, is he was a quick learner, right? His sophomore year, he really improved in his overall rating, but mostly with those touchdowns, man. He cut his interceptions in half and pretty much doubled his touchdowns. And then throughout his Eagles career, he had his ups and downs, but he maintained a pretty decent level of performance. Even though he got hurt, Nick Foles came in there, won the Super Bowl and all that stuff. I mean, before Nick Foles came in there, year after year, he was having a pretty good season. The year he got hurt when Nick Foles came in there, he was on his way to MVP caliber season, right? So then he comes back after that Super Bowl season. He kind of has that monkey on his back of backup breathing over his shoulder, and he doesn't play that well, and he ends up with the Colts, where, look, I get it, they ain't make the playoffs, right? But was Carson Wentz the only good quarterback on a good team that was expected to make the playoffs that didn't make the playoffs? Does anybody remember Justin Herbert sitting on the couch with all his weapons, with all his talent, with all his arm strength and all his hype, still on the couch watching the playoffs? And, in my opinion, Carson Wentz joined a good team, but he also joined a better conference, and his team did not improve as much as the other teams. If you don't really get what I'm saying, just thinking about the Chiefs and the Ravens last year. They didn't improve better than the other teams in the AFC, and it looked like a freaking struggle to get to where they used to get to the year before. So, the Colts, they improved by bringing in a Carson Wentz who, if you look at the numbers, he played better than Phillip Rivers the year before, but overall they didn't improve enough to, make a bigger dent in the AFC conference. So, again, we're going to look at three quarterbacks that, to me, most represent what we're going to get from Carson Wentz. And that first quarterback we're going to look at is one from not too long ago. It's my guy, Alex Smith, right? So you got Carson Wentz, 6'5", 240. Then you got Alex Smith, 6'4", 215 pounds. Good thing with Alex Smith, similar to Carson Wentz, he has a nice trajectory in terms of improving year over year. And also, they both threw for, 3,000 to 4,000 yards. Nothing too crazy. For the most part, Carson Wentz in some of his better years was throwing for 3,000 yards, close to that. Even last year with the Colts, he was threw for 3,500 yards. Best year with the Eagles, Carson Wentz threw for 4,000. You're going to get something similar when you really dig through Alex Smith's performance over the years. Mostly 3,000 yard seasons, 1 year where he did 4,000. And then when you look at the touchdowns to interception ratio, pretty similar. Rarely, though, did Alex Smith break that 20 touchdown mark. That's not what you get from Carson Wentz. You're getting a guy, if he gives you a full season, you're likely going to get 25 plus touchdowns. And that's, looking at the Colts offense, that was a run-based offense, not loaded with weapons. I don't care what anybody says. If you know this guy or that guy on the Colts. It doesn't matter. If you play fantasy football, you're probably not drafting any of the receivers on the Colts offense too high. Only player on there that you're really, drooling over is the running back, Taylor. So, yeah, I think you get a Alex Smith type performance from Carson Wentz. I mean, Alex Smith with Washington in 10 games his first season. He had a little over 2,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. The next season, he played about 8 games, started 6 of them, but finished again with 1,500 yards, 6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Obviously, that was an up and down year, but and it's not a full season. But when you really extrapolate that over a full season, you're getting numbers similar to what you got from Carson Wentz with the Colts. 3,000 to 4,000 yards, 20 plus touchdowns, and around 10 interceptions. You're also getting some improv skills now. Alex Smith was really good on his feet, especially early in his career. Could break the pocket, gash you for a couple yards. Really not that innovative of a runner, more of a straight line runner. Get some yardage, get out of bounds, get down. And you're getting some of that dynamic playability from Carson Wentz as well. Maybe not one of those guys who really wants to take off and run, but someone who can, break a tackle in the pocket, get outside of the tackles and make that play on the run, especially when, things break down. You need that play on third down, fourth down, you're in the red zone. You have that run threat dynamic as well as that thrower in there. And Carson Wentz is one of those guys who likes to throw the ball up. So he'll be good in those red zone environments, and especially good when he breaks those tackles, gets outside, and has a second chance to make another throw. He's not just looking to check down like Alex Smith. You're actually going to get an added dynamic where he's going to try to push the ball downfield. And number 2 on the list is an oldie but a goodie. His name is Trent Green. Now, a lot of people don't remember Trent Green, so a lot of people do. But he was a pretty good quarterback, had a short stint with the Washington Redskins in '98 where he got most of his playing time with us, had 2 seasons with us. But that first year, he didn't play much. Second year, he was able to get in close to 300 throws, and he threw for over 3,000 yards, close to 3,500 yards to be more specific. Had over 20 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Again, what you would likely expect from Carson Wentz. Now, we didn't re-sign him that season. We ended up going through a coaching change. On top of that, he was a free agent, and they lowballed him with that offer, so he ended up going to the Rams. Didn't play much there because he got hurt, and Kurt Warner came in and took over that situation. So he ended up with Kansas City, and again, with Kansas City, we saw what we probably would have gotten out of him over here in Washington if we just held on to him. He did play like a pretty good franchise quarterback, had multiple winning seasons over there with Kansas City, got him into the playoffs, but didn't really get that far. They tend to get upset in the playoffs and then had some rough years in between. But for the most part, with his stint with the Kansas City Chiefs, again, you're looking at 26 touchdowns in 2002, 24 touchdowns in 2003, 27 touchdowns in 2004, really around 12 to 15 interceptions each of those years. And all those years, you're looking at over 3,500 yards in passing in a gradual increase. Over 3,500 yards the first year, 4,000 the second year, and 4,500 yards the third year, 4,000 the year after that, but had a really good run with Kansas City, and I really stress that because that's what you're looking to get from Carson Wentz. You're hoping to get a good 2, 3, 4, 5 year run if possible. You'd love for him to be your franchise quarterback through eternity, but if you can get a good 2, 3 years and use him as a bridge that you can win with to that next franchise quarterback instead of struggling until you find that next franchise quarterback, that's a good thing. So, again, Trent Green, really not the most popular name out there that folks remember when it comes to quarterbacking, but he's a respectable name, and that's what you want is a respectable performance at the quarterback position where you've really been underperforming and using backups and rookies in a sense. Guys that haven't even had a full 16 games starting have been carrying the rock for the Washington football team the last few years. now the Commanders. So if we can get a Trent Green level of output from Carson Wentz, that's going to be a good thing, because you're looking at 3,500 to 4,000 yards and over 20 touchdowns. Just got to limit those interceptions so you can stay out of trouble, win more games, and just be in a better position. So if you're not that dude at quarterback, which Alex Smith, Trent Green, and Carson Wentz seem to be, right? They're good prototype builds, but they're not that dude where you want to put everything on them. You want to really have that team around them. And again, I think Carson Wentz is going to be that type of guy if you're able to just surround him with a solid team and maybe limit his opportunities to make mistakes. Third and final on the list is your boy Brad Johnson. So Brad Johnson comes in 6'5", 230 pounds. You're getting that similar size that you got from Carson Wentz. He came in after Trent Green because, again, we lowballed Trent Green. We ran North Trent out of town. He got fired, so we bring in Coach Marty Schottenheimer. He wanted a veteran coach there leading his team, so we gave him a first, second, and third round pick to the Minnesota Vikings, who had Dante Culpepper, who was shining, and we took their quarterback, Brad Johnson. Again, you're looking at a situation where, similar to Alex Smith, it's a quarterback that was with another team, comes in, showed some good quality years. Wasn't his best years, but he improved every year. He was with Minnesota coming into Washington. His last year, where he really played in Minnesota, threw for over 3,000 yards, 20-plus touchdowns. Again, similar to what you're going to get from Carson Wentz his last year with the Colts. And then what you saw was improvement, right? And that's what we want from Carson Wentz. So he came over to the Washington football team. His first season with Washington, threw for over 4,000 yards, 24 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. So not too many mistakes there. Fell off a little bit in play the year after. Eventually got sent out of town and replaced with Tony Banks. And the Washington Redskins didn't look too good after that. He ended up playing some pretty good years in Tampa, winning the Super Bowl and having a good career. And, in his years in Tampa, it was much of the same. A little bit over 3,000 yards, sometimes close to 4,000, usually over 20-plus touchdowns if he started all the games. Had one rough year there, but similar to Alex Smith, you're talking about a guy that when they played for Washington, they had winning records. Now, injuries and other things definitely get in the way, and your season doesn't go the way you expect it to. With Brad Johnson, he actually got to the playoffs with Washington, and we ended up beating the Lions that year in that first round, lost to Tampa in that second round, but again, you ended up getting good production from that quarterback position. So let me know what y'all think. Alex Smith, Trent Green, Brad Johnson, 3 quarterbacks that foreshadow what we can expect from Carson Wentz and the Washington Commanders in this upcoming football season. So like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think. Thanks for tuning in. Keep an eye out for more great videos from Beyond the Box Score. Peace.